has been given by Sigmund Freud. Now coming to Johari window. What is Johari window? This is a self-concept, again a part of self-concept. So Johari window is a kind of a model, it's a degree of openness between two people, and it's based on, the disclosures and the feedbacks, that we can have from people, and need to, when we sort of share information. Obviously, Johari window has to do with, if we take it in one line, it has to do with to improve self-awareness. We need to know ourselves, and also it has to do with personal development among individuals in a certain group. So Johari window is a kind of a very convenient method, that is used to achieve the task of understanding and also enhancing communication, between the members in a certain group. So it is a kind of a model that is used to enhance the individual's perception of oneself and also of the others. And this model was devised by American psychologists. So American psychologists Joseph Lofts and Harry Ingham, and in 1955. So while they were these were the two researchers, and they worked at the University of California, Los Angeles. And obviously Johari comes from Joseph and Harry. So the model was published, in the Proceedings of the Western Training Laboratory in Group Development by University of California Extension Office in 1955, and it was then later expanded by Joseph Luft. So what is it, by the name? So Luft and Ingham together called it a Johari model, right? And obviously it also was a part of publication. Johari is how the term, has been termed as. So we need to now understand Johari model is very simple, and it's a tool, for illustrating and improving ourselves. We need to know ourselves. We need to be aware of ourselves, and it always comes with a mutual understanding, either with us. We need to understand ourselves, and understanding between a group of people with whom we come across in our everyday life. So it has to, we are able to assess and improve our relationship. It has to do with the improvement in our relationship with ourselves, and as well as with the others with whom we are associating with in a group. So this is a very good model when we have to adopt and adapt in a very professional settings. So today it is a kind of a model where we need to, it helps us, and it lays emphasis on our soft skills, on our behavior, on our empathy, how behavior is overall, positive behavior. Then empathy has to do with how well we understand others, how well we cooperate and work together as an intergroup development and interpersonal development. It has to do with, development of communication and how well good relationship that we can have with others. So, and it is a widely used model. For why we use this model, actually, you need to understand that is because of, because we need to understand and need to have a training about ourselves. Then we need to also develop our personal self and improve our communication with the others, and the skills, interpersonal skills, and the group dynamics needs to be improved upon. And team, we need to have, problem solving skills that we need to develop, and teamwork that we need to develop amongst ourselves while in a professional setting. So it is an intergroup relationship. So we need to actually understand what this is really all about. So it's a kind of a disclosure window, it's a feedback window, it is a self-awareness window. There are window panes that we are going to see here. And it has to do with all our feelings, with all our experiences, our attitude, our skills, the intentions that we have, all motivations that we have in our lives, and obviously there are 4 perspectives that we are talking about here. There are 4 quadrants, 4 areas. These quadrants could be 4 areas, 4 regions, and these regions has to do with our feelings, our experiences, our motivations, our attributes, our attitudes, how much that we know about ourselves, how much others know about us, and how we can improve our relation with others. So we have 4 quadrants: open, free area, blind area, hidden area, and unknown area. So what is this open and free area? So Johari window has 4 quadrants. So what is this person, that is, when we talk about open area, open self, free area, these are the, different synonyms, the arena, the free self. It is the area where we know about ourselves, and also the others also knows about ourselves, the qualities and the attributes and the experience that we are aware of, and The blind area, the blind self, or the blind spot is a synonym, of the blind area, and it is the area which is unknown by the person about himself, but with the others know. So see, we need to understand, and that the hidden area, the hidden self, the avoided area, avoided self, the facade. This is how we pronounce it. Pronounce this as. So this is the area. This is hidden area. Is the area where the person knows about him or herself, but the others do not know about the qualities that you possess. And unknown area is that area where the person doesn't know about himself, and also the others do not know about you. So then, now let us first discuss the open area. What is the open area? Johari quadrant 1 is the open area, free activity, free quadrant. Here, the person is aware of his behaviors, his attitudes, he knows the kind of knowledge he has, his emotional beings, all his experiences is known. The self is known, and the self is also known by the others. So others are also aware of you, and we need to extend this area both vertically and horizontally. And we need to reduce the hidden areas. We need to, work upon open areas and have better relationships and reveal ourselves more to others, so that we are better understood. This leads to success in workplace and in personal life. Then we have the blind spot. Blind spot is the second quadrant, region 2. So in this, it is like here, a blind spot is what, others knows about you, but it is unknown by the person. I do not know my qualities, but the others know. So there is a part in my brain which is a blind spot, which I'm not aware of. So others, they come and tell you that, see, you are so elusive, you are so quiet, you are this, you are that, but we are not aware of those qualities. Blind spot is third part of it, and this blind spot is to do with, what the other blind spot is that part where others, what is known about a person by the others in the group, but it is unknown by the person himself. Then unknown areas there. So this let me just come back to blind spot. This has to do with all the latent fears and the childhood traumas and the hidden areas, the secrets that we have and we do not want to share with others. Then comes the unknown area. Unknown areas are those areas, it contains information, and it could be your hidden talent and abilities which you are not aware of, and which the other person is not aware of. So basically, once these 4 quadrants, we need to work upon it, and we need to work upon our open area. And so that once we start growing our open area to both horizontally and vertically, we'll realize that we've improved, because we need to have open conversation with people. We need to understand what are the things that we lack. We need to take feedback from others, and there are so many things that we might have, certain unknown illness that we are not aware of. There are so many unknown factors within us, from certain feelings that are there, traumas, childhood traumas might be there within us which we are not even aware of. What are the drawbacks? Like obviously, if we are not very well communicated, we do not want to talk about our certain feelings, we have certain fears, and we have those hidden areas within us, then we can have mental and health problems. So we need to be very careful, and we need to vent out ourselves and vent out our feelings, and we need to exercise upon it, and we have to correct our negative behavior. If anybody gives us any feedback, we need to reinforce and correct and take feedbacks and have open relationships. Can improve the open self area and also interpersonal relations. We can have very good relations. We can have lifelong friends through Johari window, friends for life we can have, who can correct us, who can make our life better. Now the last part is the SWOT analysis. Now what is actually SWOT analysis? We need to really understand here. SWOT analysis has to do with our strengths, with our weaknesses. It has to do with the opportunities the life gives us, and the threats that we have. This is specifically to the workplace. It could be your workplace, it could be your personal life, and we need to really understand what is really going on here. So SWOT is actually, it evaluates, it is a very strategic position, of any organization or the self, which is often in the very preliminary stages of decision making process. And to identify here, we need to identify the internal and as well as the external factors that are favorable or unfavorable and need to achieve your goals. And so the users of SWOT analysis, they usually ask questions and they generate answers, for each category. Like like what are my strengths, what are my weaknesses, what are the opportunities, and what are the threats. This you do basically to identify any kind of competitive advantages that we need to have in life. So as the saying goes, make it thy business to know thyself, which is the most difficult lesson in the world, to be able to understand oneself. So it is a kind of a self-analysis to make most of your opportunities, to make most of your talents. Who am I? What is my identity? Do I really matter? What is the importance of me, myself, and where am I? The impact that I need to have on others. So obviously it's SWOT can be said to be a very tried and true kind of a strategic analysis that we need to do here, and we need to criticize, and it has also been criticized for limitations, for some kind of static nature of the analysis. But yes, we can do away with all the biases, and obviously there are so many external factors that play upon our lives, so we need to work upon them. So the strengths are the characteristics of the businesses or the project that gives us advantage over the others. Then we have the weaknesses. Then opportunities are there. Every project, there could be new projects that could be coming up, but that we need to recognize. And the threats that are there, the threats are the troubles, and that can take place in any business setting. So strengths and weaknesses are usually considered internal, while opportunities and threats are usually considered to be external. This we need to understand. Everyone thinks of changing the world, but no one thinks of changing him or herself, is what SWOT analysis is all about. That we need to really understand ourselves. And the day that we understand ourselves, then of course, there are so many changes that we can bring about in our lives. So SWOT has to do with the strength, is the internal strength within the organization, within the self. And weaknesses is again the personal internal weaknesses in an organization that we need to work upon, that need to achieve goals. We need to know our weaknesses. Then what are the external opportunities, the resources, the trainings, what are the advantages that we need to have in our life, what are the opportunities that are there in our lives, and obviously the threats, the obstacles we need to understand, and we need to mitigate, we need to do away with the threats that we have in our lives, because threats could be very, very harmful. Strength and opportunities are very, very helpful in achieving the objectives, and of course weaknesses and threats could can be a lot of bring about detrimental effects on our lives. And in any organization, any organization needs to work upon its weaknesses, it needs to work upon its threats. So then the strengths. So obviously, what is strength? It is the work. It comes from the internal positive aspects that are under control, and of course, we need to capitalize on it. And our strength could be our education, it could be the work experience, our technical knowledge that we have, all the skills that we have, whether it's the teamwork, whether it's the communication skills, the leadership skills that we have, how well we can speak, how well that we can write, how well that we can listen and express ideas. So these are things that are very, very important. Work survival. So how well that we can survive. SWOT analysis always teaches us to be a survivor. So to be a survivor, one needs to be punctual, needs to manage time, attending to details like the nitty-gritties, all needs to be taken care of, and one needs to have goals, and also to to be able to and reach to one's goal and to achieve one's goal, and enlisting all the helps that one needs. You have to pen it down, you have to write it down, and then reach for help and accept your responsibilities and meet all the deadlines. Be a very good organizer, organize things so that you don't make mistakes, you don't make errors. You should be a very good decision maker. You have to accept, you make decisions in a way that there are less errors and less threats, because we need to identify, because any workplace, whether it is, they have to keep in mind the finances, the financial, the revenue, the grants, the investments, all the activities, the processes, the projects, the programs, the past. When it has to do with individuals, it has to do with past experiences, one's reputations, one's knowledge. All these things are very important, and external factors are very important for any organization and as well as for individuals. So a very strategic planning, work survival is a strategic planning has to be done at various levels, including businesses, including non-profit organizations, government units and individuals. So it is always used alongside other frameworks. So obviously it is a very pre-crisis planning. We can say that SWOT analysis is a pre-crisis planning and preventive crisis management, and it also has to do with viability study. And obviously, we need to also, it gives us recommendation on how to go about in life. So weaknesses has to do with, how lack of work experience is there. We've not, like, we've not our scores have been very low, lack of goals, lack of self knowledge. So we need to work upon the technical skills, the leadership skills, the interpersonal, the intrapersonal, the knowing the within, the negative characteristics that we have, our indecisiveness, or we are shy, what are the things that we lack and we need to work upon. So we need to work upon our weaknesses, as the saying goes, that the more that we know about ourselves, the more success ladder that we climb, and the less that we know about ourselves, the less that we are able to succeed in life. So of course, we need to kind of convert all our weaknesses into our strength, and opportunities, positive external conditions that is not in our control, but we can plan and take advantage. So we have to create opportunities, whether it is the business houses, whether it is the individuals. We need to face with all the external threats and internal weaknesses, and also we need to minimize the weaknesses, minimize the threats, and work upon the opportunities and work upon the strengths. So obviously it's we need to generate strategies. So, and this field is very important because one needs to kind of develop a set of skills, decision making skills and problem solving skills, and we have to be very, very active. We have to have leadership skills and opportunities that can have to go through some greater self knowledge and job goals, orientations one needs to have. One needs to advance in one's field, and career paths that we need to choose has to be, we need to take care of the unique opportunities if we are coming across, and we need to kind of accept it at the right time. And of course the geographical settings that we are in, if we feel that we are not in the right place, we can change our place, our settings, and we need to have a very strong network of people. This is very important when you talk about opportunities. We need to create opportunities for ourselves, and the threats, very important again, because unless that you're aware of the threats, and these are again not in one's control, and obviously one needs to have the effects of the threats can be very can be very detrimental, can be very demeaning, can be very downsizing. So the negative trends one has to really any business organization, any individual needs to recognize, because this can diminish jobs, this can lead to downsizing and retrenchments, and threats can be in the form of competitions from your college graduates, your comrades, your student, your competitors that you have, your friends, anybody who's got better skills than you have, and you can have a lot of obstacles in your way. Obstacles could be so many, obstacles could be in the form of finances, you're not able to have advanced educational trainings. So obviously finances can be an obstacle, so you have to work towards your obstacles, and because obviously threats can always limit your advancements in your field, and because there's a lot of cutthroat competition in the market, and we need to really rise above everybody, and so for that we need to really work hard. And companies, so we need to have we need to kind of empower ourselves with the best of knowledge and the best of education, and with the highest form of degree that we can achieve for ourselves, because the companies, when they hire, they take care of the technical prowess that you have and the degrees that you possess. So obviously one has to be very, very careful. Then a SWOT analysis is basically at the end of the day you have to make most of your talents, the opportunities that you have to build on your strengths, you have to recognize your weaknesses, that's very, very important, evaluate your opportunities and research your threats. You have to find out whatever the threat is, in whichever capacity that it is, because this process may involve a lot of analyzing the competitors, cost structures, if it comes to business houses, and what are the sources of profits, what are the resources of competencies, competitive kind of positioning of any organization, the degree of integration and historical resources and competencies, and qualitative marketing and quantitative marketing and so much more comes into any business houses. They have to know exactly, have to oversee various environmental factors, and obviously all the various processes, identify the needs and inform the company's marketing analysis. This is important. So what are the strengths, advantages that you can have? What are the, how do you perform better than anybody else? The resources that you can have, the achievements that you can have. Believe in yourselves. The weaknesses could be, the weaknesses that people see in you, and whether you are very confident in your studies, whether you have skills or not. Do you have, the personality traits that hold you back in your field? So these are things that we need to understand about ourselves and work upon them. So take care of the opportunities. The threats are in the form of what obstacles we need to really, pen it down and ask ourselves, what are the threats? So changing technologies can threaten your positions. It could be in the form of technology. It could be in the form of any kind of demands that your job has, and any colleague is kind of having certain keeping or competing with you. So, and opportunities could be many, any technology, what new technology has come up, and you can gain over the others, and you can have new strategic contacts you can make, and the trends that you see in the company, you can take advantage of the trends. So that is all it is. So SWOT analysis is actually, to, if we understand, it has to do with, the self. It has to do with any organization. It has to do with any profession. So we need to have, we need to make the best of the resources that we have. And SWOT, whether it is the SWOT analysis, whether it's the Johari window, whether it is self-reflection, whether it's a self-talk and self-concept, knowing oneself is very important at the end of the day. What is it that I have? What is it that I lack? And then in the process of this process called life, we need to continuously work upon ourselves and lead our lives to success, and there can be no looking back. Thank you.